Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Big Brain webinar. My name is Jake Cunningham, and I am not your host. I'm not the teacher presenter. I am a co-producer with Louise Swartswalter from the Albuquerque Natural Health Center. My role is to simply be your tech support and to help, if you have any technical issues through the program, to please communicate. This is an interactive program, and we want you to share your questions and your thoughts. You can also private and post through the chat on the right-hand side of your screen. In the chat room, you can post, and I'll post as a test right here. Please post here. And you should be able to see that. I'm going to write a sticky post here. Now, if you have any issues with technical issues and the broadcast is not streaming very clearly, or the audio is just a little broken up, many times that number one reason is due to the bandwidth and the ability for you to push the information, the video and the audio and the screen sharing graphics and the presentation Louise is going to share through your internet. What best helps is to turn off any other Wi-Fi or connected internet applications. So if you have other YouTube channels up or your email, things of that nature, that will help. And then also the best advice is to simply refresh the page. This is like a YouTube channel page and you just need to refresh. So that's the biggest tech tip I can give you to proactively give yourself your own troubleshooting tech support. So now, without further ado, I want to get right in and honor your time. I just really thank and welcome everybody for joining us today, Saturday, August 29th, for the Big Brain webinar with my dear colleague and friend of mine, Louise Swartswalter, who I've worked with for the past decade, helping bring forth information, valuable tools, tips, and guidance and coaching for our extended network of professional healthcare providers, as well as the clients and patients that are really keen and hungry to learn how they can be empowered and do better for themselves and their families. And so it's always a pleasure to be here and to learn, because I am a student. I'm actually a member of the groups that Louise offers, and I get to contribute a little bit here once in a while, but it's such a pleasure and an honor to be a part of this. So without further ado, I'm going to pass the ball over to Louise. Louise, take it away and welcome. We're excited.
Thank you. Thank you, Jake. Thanks so much. I really, really enjoy working with you. This has been amazing. We have so much fun doing these webinars together, and I just absolutely adore being able to share this information with you today. I'm a brain guru, I guess. I've been working with brains for over 29 years now. So I was a special ed teacher to begin with and worked with kids for about 25 years. And the story goes that I kind of became like the kids I taught. So I lost my memory. I got very sick. I had my phone number written in my wallet. This is before cell phones. And so I was always very curious, not only for myself to get my brain working again, but I've been asking questions for 29 years on, how come Johnny could read yesterday and he can't focus today? And what's that all about? So I've had a lot of experience with the ADD, ADHD population. And then I took it into my practice actually later. So I became a naturopath and a biofeedback therapist and found that there were many ways to work on the brain, and that I'm going to be sharing actually a secret with you today on how that all evolved, and also what's the secret to really getting the best results with that. So I'm so excited to share this with you. I'm going to jump right into the PowerPoint now. So let me get that up here for you. Okay, so this is the Big Brain webinar, and I'm going to be sharing the 5 steps to change your life today.
I don't want to interrupt you. Just you need to share your screen. You got
my screen. Okay,
there you go.
You're right.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for. I'm your I'm your little
You're my
messenger.
tech guy.
But don't shoot the messenger, please. I'm just a little white dove that is carrying a message.
Oh gosh, I still want to split our screen where we can talk back and forth, Jake, and have just a lot of fun with this. Okay, so now I am sharing my screen, and you get to see the PowerPoint here from the beginning. All right. So here we are. Can you see that okay now?
Yeah, perfect. Excellent.
Awesome, awesome. So this is the Big Brain webinar. It's the 5 steps to change your life. So we're going to be going over those right now. So do you actually want to feel like this first picture, or do you want to feel like the second picture? So the second picture here is one of my VIP clients came here from Kentucky to Albuquerque, New Mexico, and we got to spend a day working together, and just made quite transformation, a lot of transformation and change for her. So here's the actual problem. So the problem is, if you or a loved one is struggling with brain fog, or you're feeling stressed out, or you have memory issues, maybe you have you or a loved one has ADHD or ADD, autism, allergies, maybe you have anxiety, poor sleep, family communication issues, or a health issue, then this is for you. So I'm going to be sharing, like I said, a secret here. Actually, a few secrets coming up during this whole presentation. So I want to dive right into giving you, I guess, the background as to why I can even be here today talking with you about brain. So here's my story. I'm going to go all the way back to when I was younger. I had, I guess, bad teeth. So I had 14 mercury fillings by the time I was about 22 years old. So I inherited not such good teeth from my family, from my mother. So I had a mouthful of mercury. And many of you know that mercury is a heavy metal, and maybe that isn't such a good thing to have in our mouths. We're finding that more and more today. I do get the questions, though. People will ask, hey, do I need to get my mercury fillings taken out if I have some? And that's a good question. It depends on the person. It depends on their health. So it's an individual answer. Then I went into teaching, and I taught special education for 25 years. And like I said, I kind of became like the kids I taught. I lost my memory. I had a lot of brain fog. I was pretty depressed and pretty sick. And how that actually happened was I ended up having all my fillings taken out in one day. And at that time, my children were young. So I have 2 children. My daughter's older. My son is 3 years younger. And so when I was raising my kids and I started really having this chronic fatigue, and doctors didn't know what it was, and they labeled me with everything from MS to fibromyalgia to MCS, which is multiple chemical sensitivities, I was really seeking answers, and drugs didn't work for me. So the medical stuff didn't work for me. So I ended up in the world of natural health, just really almost doctor hopping, if you will, until I could find some answers. I ended up at the dentist's office, and that's when he took all my fillings out in one day. And I thought I was going to be better, but what happened was about 3 months later, my fingertips were tingling. I was loaded with mercury. I wasn't able to detox that, in a sense. So I really got to experience what it was like to be pretty toxic with heavy metals, and then having to detox and get my own health back. And so that was my path, and really that's what led to where I am today. So a picture saves 1,000 words. And when someone hears that you just have allergies, they don't really totally understand that and so I thought, hey, I'll just show you the picture here. So in 1993, that top picture of me, that's in bed in my home. I was not in a hospital. I had no front teeth. I couldn't tolerate teeth because my dentist had taken out a tooth with a post and filed down 2 good teeth on either side of that. And it was a mess. It was a real mess. When they were spraying herbicides and pesticides in my neighborhood, I ended up on oxygen. So I had an oxygen tank in my home. And again, my kids were little, and I was able to move that oxygen tank around and still play with them and be their mom. But I really wanted to be a mom to them in a much different way and wasn't able to do that. The picture at the right there is me today. So you guys, this is how many years later? 26 years later. My son is 26, and now I feel and look way much better than that picture. The bottom picture there was at a show in Las Vegas, Nevada. I sold vitamins for a company, and that was the first time I could travel when I started getting a little bit better. So here's the experiences that really led to the secret that I want to share with you today. The secret of how you can have an optimal brain, and it's not what you think it is. So again, I had 25 years of teaching learning difference children. Then I went on and did a program and spent 10 years providing therapy for dyslexic students. And that therapy was pretty intense. It was like physical therapy for your brain. So I would see those students 3 and 4 times a week, providing a program to help them learn to read, write, and spell. And one of my first students had ADD, and we helped him get off of Adderall and worked with him for allergies. And this is the very beginning of me really working as a natural person, a natural doctor person. And I had my first biofeedback program then. And so I actually put him on the biofeedback program every week. And so his mom would bring him every Wednesday, and I put him in the program every week. And I was amazed. What actually happened was he jumped 2 grade levels in reading in about 8 months of just biofeedback therapy. No dyslexic therapy, no reading therapy. I didn't even have him as a student yet. All I was doing was biofeedback. What that taught me was that what I was really doing with my biofeedback program was changing the brain. I was working on the neurotransmitters of the brain, and that helped him tremendously. So that actually spurred me to go ahead to get my naturopathic doctor degree. So now I've been the owner of Albuquerque Natural Health Center for about 12 years now. I started in my home, worked in an office, and then we actually purchased an office. So I have an office condo here in Albuquerque. I would love for you all to come and see me, come to a class, whatever. We just have a great time here. We've got a great staff. And so now I've combined all of this. So I've combined my work with biofeedback, my work as a kinesiologist, some trauma release work that I do, some energy work that I do, and some brain-soul connection work that I do. And it's all just morphed into this sort of amazing system that really helps people go from 0 to 100 in a sense, in their life, in their health, and in their brain power. So here's the actual secret that I discovered. And many of you out there probably have those little light bulb moments where something just goes, oh, I get that now, or oh, that's what it is. Well, that's what happened for me as well. I was using a multisensory approach with dyslexic students, teaching them to read and write. And multisensory just means that we were working with what you say, with what you see, with what you hear, with what you write. Kind of like combining the senses. So we did things like desk writing, where we would write the letter B in cursive on the desk or in sand or in the air. So very sensory, kinesthetic as well. What I found after working with numbers and numbers of people over the years is that they would go to one natural doctor and they'd go to their nutritionist and they'd get the nutrition piece. And they would learn what they needed to do to change their diet. And then they would go over to their chiropractor and work on their structural body. And then they would go to somebody else and work with their spiritual body. Maybe it was a church, or maybe it was a group they belonged to. And then they would go to someone else who was a practitioner that specialized in emotions. And then they might be doing some energy work with another practitioner. But because it wasn't all done at the same time, they were still struggling. So here's the secret. My Beautiful Balanced Brain Signature program works with a very multisensory approach in healing the brain and the whole body. It's done all at once. And that has been amazing. So just last week, I had a woman in my office who, and this is just a health issue, this isn't necessarily a brain issue, but she has been, and she's a practitioner herself, and she's been from practitioner to practitioner to practitioner, working on a menstrual problem where she's had heavy bleeding, where it stopped her from even leaving her home. And she said, you know, I'm just so frustrated. What's this issue? I spent a whole vacation literally sitting on a towel on the front porch in Costa Rica, and wasn't able to enjoy my vacation. And so we found that it was, and so I'm a good detective. We found that it was dioxin, which is a pesticide, which I often see as a cause of a lot of reproductive organ issues. But the other piece was in the field, meaning we had to clear the energetic field programs, the brain soul connections that were inhibiting her from moving forward. That's the piece that I do that's different. And so her partner came to our group meeting and said, I can't believe this. I have to come and see what you did because she is so different. So that's the kind of results that you can have. So here's just some outcomes that have happened from some of the brain work and the brain groups that we've done. So, wow, this is the first time my son made straight A's. He's never done this before in 11 years of schooling. I'm excited beyond words. His social skills are improving, and he's taking more self-responsibility. He's taking hard classes this year, such as biology and pre-calculus, and doing so great. This Brain Boosters program is amazing. Thank you for all you have done. And this is a family. This is a mom and her son, and they would come up from southern New Mexico to see me. And so it was about a 3-hour drive, and I only really saw him 3 times, I think, in person, and then I put him in a group program. So that was amazing. And these are the results that happened with the combination approach I use. I have loved being in the group. I'm sleeping better. I'm feeling more focused. I'm definitely more relaxed and happier. Thanks for this group. This is a woman in Albuquerque. I slept so good last night. I got 9 hours of sleep without waking up. I felt great when I woke up this morning. I'm actually looking forward to bedtime tonight. I normally have anxiety every night around whether or not I will be able to sleep. Doesn't know if she can sleep. This is a woman in Kentucky. So when I'm sharing this with you, and you're seeing that there's people from other places outside of Albuquerque, I need to explain to you that I can work long distance. And long distance just means I'm sending frequency to balance your brain, to balance your whole body through a biofeedback program. It's like sending a text message today. So that's what I'm able to do. And so part of what you're going to hear right now is a mom. It's a woman who had her 2nd grade daughter in my Brain Boosters group, and Holly is dyslexic. And this is just a little bit of what Beth had to share with us about the transformation that happened for her daughter, Holly, when she was in this long distance brain group.
Hi, Louise.
Yes.
So the video's done and it plays, but the admin can't see it. So
Okay.
you were just watching to kind of keep track of the time, but you can
Okay.
continue on to uh, the next, or if you want me to load the next video, just let me know.
Okay. So you weren't able to. Okay.
Yeah, no,
So
no,
you're not able.
we
You weren't
played.
able to see that.
Oh no, we played the video and it broadcasted live. So
Oh, okay. Because I actually. Oh, good. Okay. Thank you. All right. So I'm going to keep going here. So you're able to see Beth share a little bit about Holly. It was really amazing. I've watched Holly grow up, and every time I see her, she's. I mean, of course, when you see children grow up, you see the difference. You see the difference in them, but her focus, her confidence. The biggest thing has been her confidence. She's so much more confident, and those kids really struggle with confidence. So that was just such a gift. There's definitely a difference between right and left brain. And what I have found over the years, and I actually do some techniques to help balance right and left brain, is when you're using both sides of the brain is when you can be most productive. So even though you may have more creativity, your right side of the brain is more pronounced than your left, or your left more pronounced than your right in terms of your skills and your strengths and abilities. What I have found is the biofeedback, the programs that I use, work to balance the whole, and that really does help people. So here's what I found. When you balance your brain, you balance the whole body. And I've created 5 different modules to help optimize your brain power, your focus, your memory, and your intelligence. And they actually spell the acronym BRAIN. And so if you look there at the left side of your screen, the first module is body, and that's actually what we're going to go into today. The second one is release. The third one is align. The fourth one is integrate. And the last one is creating a new program within you, meaning transforming those old programs that either say, I can't do it, I'm not good enough, whatever that is, even the things you have gotten from your parents that you grew up with when you were young, we want to release those and allow you to be 100% yourself, to be you, to be 100% your soul's truth. So we're going to learn 2 secrets today to heal your brain and experience. You're actually going to experience the biofeedback program. So the first module is about the body. And so today we're going to spend some time going into the body parts. And the body parts of healing the brain is the heavy metals and environment. They definitely do affect your brain. Brain foods, nutrition, detoxing, supplements, allergies and exercise, and hormone and neurotransmitter balance, and how this is related to digestion. So the first part is brain and heavy metals. And we've all heard maybe that aluminum is the cause of Alzheimer's, or they're suspecting that heavy metals is definitely a part of what's going on with our brain. And this is just a brief overview of what that looks like. There's much more information out there on this as well. And certainly you're welcome to email me or call me. I'm happy to share more with you. But brain and heavy metals, I lived this one. Okay, so I ended up with so much mercury, methyl mercury, that was released from the mercury fillings in my mouth that I really couldn't think. And my quest was just to get my brain working again. And what I find clinically is that it is the metals and the environmental chemicals that are really the cause of much illness today. So in ADD and ADHD, it's often lead. And I work with a lot of Hannah Kroger's work, and she has a kit to work on, a kit of homeopathics that help get the lead and the other chemicals out. So it helps the child or adult detox that, and their focus is different. And you can even see the difference in them within 3 or 4 weeks. Their focus is better. Autism is often mercury and other heavy metals, in addition to the pathogens, the candida, the viruses that come in to clean up those heavy metals. MS has also been, the cause can be mercury and other chemicals. And so heavy metals is playing havoc with all of us today. They say that babies today are born with lead in them just from being carried by the mother. And and that there's 247 different chemicals that they have found in the umbilical cord. And that's just from living in our polluted world. All autoimmune imbalances, lupus, arthritis, asthma, allergies, cancer, all have a heavy metal component. Copper is often the heavy metal in cancer, especially reproductive organ cancer. There'll be high levels of copper. And protozoa comes in to clean up copper. And protozoa is a single-celled parasite. And I can't tell you how many people we've been able to help with a Hannah Kroger protozoa kit, which is just 3 homeopathic remedies that help detox the copper and the protozoa. And so it is the cause of so many illnesses, everything from asthma to arthritis to Hodgkin's disease to rheumatoid arthritis to diabetes. And so it's simple, and yet there's so many people suffering with irritable bowel syndrome and colitis and Crohn's disease. They don't have to suffer. It's not that hard. High blood pressure is often cadmium and other heavy metals. And the right kidney filters heavy metals. The left kidney filters pathogens like bacteria. So if someone comes into my office, or you out there are struggling and you're saying, gosh, I always have right side back pain. That right side back pain may mean you need to detox some heavy metals. Maybe you have left side back pain. That's going to be more bacteria or protozoa or a fungus or some pathogen. We have found that Alzheimer's is connected to aluminum, but it's also connected to trauma. So here's another secret. I found that we can work with the brain, and the first piece is getting rid of the heavy metals and detoxing, and of course rebuilding, getting in a good nutritional program. So this is that physical piece, the body piece. But I have to tell you a story about a woman who came in who had brain cancer, and I work a lot with autoimmune imbalances and ADD and ADHD and sleep issues and allergies. But I don't see that many cancer patients. Well, this woman wanted some help with nutrition. And when she came in, I hooked her up to the Biofeedback program. And I started doing my technique called brain-soul balancing, which releases the traumas in the brain. And there were issues from when she was young, stuff with her mother, stuff with her family. And we did this trauma technique where we released what I call the strings, the different situations that have affected her in her life that were in the field, meaning in the energy field. And she had 13 small brain tumors that medically they zapped with some kind of radiation. And she didn't even really know who she was, and her cousin took care of her. Well, each one of those traumas, those 13 traumas, when she left, I actually realized that we did 13 traumas and she had 13 brain tumors. Wow, did a light bulb go off there? Did that ever teach me that it is that trauma that's in the field that has to be released for you to get healthy? And that is a piece that's not being looked at. And so if you or a loved one is ill or sick and you're not getting the help that you need, I'm going to encourage you to look at that piece. So whether it's, call me or whether it's someone else, I don't care. Just get it taken care of, because that
also trim that. So if people want to listen to the replay, you have access to this, everybody. So thank you for your patience on this Saturday afternoon. Take it away, Louise.
Okay, thank you, Jake. So anyway, lead can affect so many things in the body. So I just wanted to give you a flavor for all of those things that it could create and help you see that for you, the big thing you want to do is you want to detox. Okay, so we want to detox all those chemicals and all those metals. Your healthy environment is another big piece of this. So you want to use natural cleaning products in your home. Many of you may do this already. Natural personal care products. They say don't put anything on your skin that you can't ingest. And natural toothpaste without fluoride. Fluoride actually damages the thyroid gland. So, fluoride puts puts iodine out of balance, and that's not good. And so you really do need to detox. Use toothpaste without fluoride. Give you a quick example. I have a client who is a dental hygienist, and we have her on a little homeopathic remedy called halogens to take out the fluoride. And she's already feeling better. Her brain is working better, and she's able to move forward in her life and feel more energetic. So she was tired and not sleeping well, and things are changing by just detoxing that fluoride and using a natural fluoride toothpaste. You want to use natural methods of controlling bugs. So the picture that you saw of me was not only mercury fillings being taken out in one day, but a lot of exposure to pesticides in my neighborhood. And a pesticide is just, side means to kill, so it's anything that will kill. And they are the cause of a lot of reproductive organ issues. And so pesticides and herbicides, not just eating pesticide-free food, but using them in your environment is critical. Not to use those in your home, and use some natural methods like diatomaceous earth, cinnamon, peppermint oil, tea tree oil can work, eucalyptus oil can work. So there's some oils that'll work on that. For cockroaches, boric acid works great. So you want to start using natural things in your own environment. Of course, radiation and electrical pollution is big today, and that little bead that you see right here to the right is a little bead that you can wear that protects you from radiation, from all the electromagnetic pollution we have out there. There's other products as well. We have cell phone chips, and I have little chips that you actually attach to the computer, to your TV, to your electric stove. So there's definitely protection you want to get for all of that. If you're using a Bluetooth, you want to put a little bead or a little chip on your Bluetooth, because that's in your ear all the time. And now they're even connecting tinnitus and the ringing of the ears to using your cell phone on your ear. So use your speakerphone with your cell phone, and also get protection on your cell phone. The other thing that's not talked about when we think about environment and the cause of how it can affect you, your sleep, your brain, is something called geopathic stress. And geopathic means earth, of the earth. And there is such a thing as earth stress. Things like radon and water running underneath properties can cause stress lines underneath your property. And if you're not sleeping, or you've got some degeneration in your body, you definitely want to take a look at that. And there's a way to correct that through using a grid. And a grid is just setting up copper wires around your property. It's pretty simple. If you want information on that, email me and I can get you more information. But that's a piece of the puzzle in health, and definitely in brain health, that's been overlooked. So like I said, you're going to get lots of little secrets today. I'm kind of loading this up so that you can walk away with some tools and some information for you, for your family, that you can use right away to help yourself. So how do we detox heavy metals? Well, you want to eat more greens. So green powders, my favorite is Tonic Alchemy by Dragon Herbs, N-L-acetylcysteine, stable glutathione, vitamin C, alpha-lipoic acid, garlic, cilantro, vitamin C, and milk thistle also protects the liver. Sweat and sauna detoxification is a wonderful way to detox heavy metals. So if you're exercising to the point of sweating, good, keep doing it. I was pretty ill and ended up in a 5-week sauna program where I sweated every day in a dry heat, not a infrared sauna. At the time it was dry heat. This was 1993. But you always want to take a shower afterwards. So, I mean, I look back and I think that sauna stuff, that sauna detox program really probably saved my life. And so I encourage you to find something where you're sweating, doing some sweaty activity. Breath work, yoga, martial arts, biofeedback sessions to de-stress, balance the hormones, and balance those stressors. And there is chelation therapy also people have used to detox heavy metals. And for some people that works, and for some people maybe not. It depends on how sensitive you are. And I test all that. I make sure that people are doing what's going to work for them. One of the best things to really help your liver, and as an anti-aging supplement, is glutathione. And glutathione is a wonderful, valuable, it conjugates, so it actually pulls out heavy metals. It's a powerful antioxidant. It protects proteins from oxidation. It helps preserve your mitochondria. It promotes the production of energy units. It protects the epithelial lining of your gut. It helps prevent the oxidation of antioxidants such as vitamin C and E. And it activates enzymes in the methylation process, which just means how your body detoxes. So it's a tremendous help. And the stable glutathione that I have is actually a stable molecule, so it's digested better, because the researchers said that glutathione is not absorbed well in the gut, and that's because many people have gut issues. But the molecule needs to be stable. And so when I was very ill, I also had glutathione IV treatments. So some of you may have heard of that. And they did help, but it's not something we want to do all the time. And so there's a company that I work with that helped me design my products. And they had a recipe, an actual way to do this that they had gotten from Germany. And I was so excited to work with them developing this. And so this is on my website. That's abqnaturalhealthcenter.com under store. And you guys will be really happy that you tried this. I can almost guarantee it. The second step in taking care of your body is nutrition. Many of you know this. I'm not going to spend a lot of time in here, but there's some do's and don'ts. So limit refined sugar. Refined sugars are sucrose, dextrose, maltose, lactose, and fructose. You want to start to become a label reader. Going gluten-free is definitely helpful. Okay, the gluten here in America has so much mycotoxins and it's how it's processed that it really isn't healthy for you. And there's so many gluten-free options today. Fermented soy, as in miso only. Soy puts the thyroid gland out of balance, and so if you can use a fermented soy, organic soy, because soy is very GMO'd, which is genetically modified, meaning it has chemicals in it. Eat organic as much as possible. If cost is an issue, and I hear this from people sometime, I say, you're going to put some money into your food now, or you could be paying at the doctor with surgery later. So it's a health insurance policy. You want to be thinking, eat simple, healthy, colored fruits and vegetables, and shop the outside aisles of your grocery store. So if you in your mind right now picture your grocery store, the outside aisle is going to be produce, meat, and dairy. The inside aisles have all the boxed cookies and boxed rice-a-roni and all of those processed foods you want to stay away from. There's definitely some basics in nutrition. So I call the basics minerals, fish oil, and probiotics. Those three together will change your life. Most of us are low in minerals. We're not getting what we need because our soils are depleted. And fish oil is important if you're not eating healthy fish, which is hard to get today anyway. And so you want to do the omega-3s. Omega 600 here is an EFA product that has a lot of omega-3 fish oil in it. It's pretty absorbable. So again, all fish oils are not created equal. Depends on how they're manufacturing them. I'm pretty picky about that. The probiotic that we have too is a 4-strain probiotic, and I really like this. When I test people on their probiotic, often they have to take something like 6 or 8 to equal 1 of the probiotic daily. And so it saves people some money, and believe me, I mean, we were in debt from my health issues. And so I'm looking always to figure out how to help people more and make it more affordable for them. So just these 3 alone, and they are on sale in my store right now. You get 10% off. So we will send you that link. You definitely want you to get on some. I'd rather have you take things that are going to help you, that I know are good, than to be going to the health food store and perusing the aisles and spending a lot of money on things that are not going to work. The other thing I need to say about what I have is they're frequency enhanced. And so my products, the Albuquerque Natural Health Center brand, I put on the biofeedback program and put extra frequency in them. So I'm giving them extra probiotic, extra digestive enzymes, the energy of that to enhance their absorption. So I also hear from people that they only can take sometimes like 3 CoQ10 a week. They don't need one every day. And again, that's been just such a gift because we want to stay healthy. We want to take the right supplements. But what if we don't have to take as many? That's awesome. So, and the brain ones, I love these brain ones. So the Mood Max helps with mood, and the Total Recall obviously helps with recall. And I can't tell you how many people I have on these products that's changed their life, changed their sleeping, changed their mood, ability to recall and remember. The other piece that you need to look at when you're looking at a healthy brain is definitely the food allergies and allergies in general. But the most common food allergies are dairy, wheat, gluten, sugar, and corn. Those foods are also the most inflammatory foods. And often I'll test people in my office and find they can do organic yogurt, but they can't do milk or cheese. And so everyone is different. And yet what we want to do is definitely be eating organic. But wheat also is incredibly bloating. So wheat and gluten really mess up your gut. And we've been gluten-free for over 25 years now. And it really did change my brain. And I've seen this with a lot of my clients. Sugar too, sugar is going to just feed candida and feed pathogens. And corn is very inflammatory, and it's also genetically modified. So you want to use rice or almond milk or coconut or hemp milk as milk substitutes. Personally, right now, I've been using more hemp milk than rice, and I'm really liking that. And I use that in a protein shake in the morning. So, try something new. Make a commitment that you're going to try one of these things. What is leaky gut? So I have a lot of questions from people, and they say, there's a lot of information out there on the gut and the brain connection, and we're going to talk about that. But I want to give you a heads up and the reason why or how leaky gut even forms, I guess. What leaky gut is it just means your small intestine gets little holes in it, and the proteins leak out into your bloodstream. And then your immune system looks at those proteins as if they were foreign invaders, and it begins to create immunoglobulin, I guess it's called immunoglobulins against that protein. And that is actually what sets up the allergy to that. So now you have an allergy to a food you never had allergies to before because your gut became slightly leaky. So what causes leaky gut could be heavy metals, a trauma, an environmental chemical exposure. So for us, it was pesticides. For my daughter, it was that. My daughter became allergic to all the food she normally ate where was pesticides used in our home when she was 3. This is before I learned everything, long time ago. But that onslaught of her little body then knocked out her immune system and caused leaky gut. And she became allergic to all of those foods. So if an allergist tells you you can become allergic at any time in your life, yes, you can. But it's usually going to be related to some kind of heavy metal, a chemical, a trauma, something that happened that caused that. So how do we work with it and repair it? Probiotic, good oil, fish oil, borage oil, and L-glutamine. So there's definitely a relationship between the gut and the brain. In fact, the enteric nervous system is a network of over 100 billion neurons in the gut. The gut's like a little chemical lab. And nearly every chemical found in the brain also exists in the gut. So when you take care of your gut and you're eating good, healthy food, taking your probiotic, eating sauerkraut, yogurt, and the good kefir foods, you're going to help yourself more than you know. Here's what's really just mind-blowing. The main neurotransmitter used by your GI tract is serotonin. And that's the chemical that, when released properly, gives you that happy, contented feeling, just like you have after a tasty meal. 95% of your body's serotonin resides in your gut. And those that suffer from IBS issues, they have an actual issue with the reuptake of serotonin. So it's a metabolic thing in their body, and it leaves too much of that serotonin floating around, causing diarrhea. The other problem, the other cause of IBS, is protozoa. Parkinson's and Alzheimer's lesions and plaques that are found in the brain are also found in the gut. So the nerves in the gut are as sick as your nerves in your brain. Psychiatrists now are finding that they can actually prescribe probiotics rather than pharmaceuticals. So we're getting there. We're coming a long way. And so that's good food for thought. So I have a client who had fuzzy brain all the time, and she and we worked together, and this really helped her. You know, the biofeedback, the combination approach that I use, and the groups, the Brain Boosters group, really helped her brain. And so I want you to hear from her right now. Jake, can you turn that on?
Hi, Louise. I'll play it here.
Awesome.
Just loading it up for you.
Okay, thank you. And this is just about 2 minutes. It's really short.
And Louise,
Yes.
while this is playing,
Yes.
just you won't see the video play, so
Okay.
I'll just cue you.
Perfect.
You'll hear the voice. You'll hear my voice when it's over. So.
Okay.
All right. And yeah, it's a minute and 14 seconds, so it's short. All right, Louise, are you there?
I am. Awesome. Thank you. So you got to hear from Pat. So that was, amazing, because she had been, again, to a lot of different people, different practitioners working on just getting healthy and getting her brain back. And it definitely was a lot of protozoa in her gut that we worked on clearing out. So I wanted to share with you and have you all experience part of what I'm talking about here. So there's a definite correlation between what we can do with biofeedback and what I've seen with brain health. So if you think about this, everything is energy. So everything vibrates at a particular frequency. And change it can actually be made at the cellular level. So what we're really doing when we give someone energy work, or we're putting in a new pattern, a different pattern, and maybe even working with meditation yourself on this, is we're rebooting the hard drive of your body, of your energy field. And so I show people that all disease begins in the field. So I had a woman at my group meeting the other night who had back pain. It was the first time she had come to our group. And I had her hold on her back where the pain was. And I muscle tested her and showed that the pain, when I said the pain is here, and her hand was directly on that spot, kinesiology showed that it was not. Her arm went weak. Then I had her put her hand about 6 to 8 inches out from her body. And I said, the pain is here, hold. And it did show that it was in the field. Her arm was strong. And then 3 feet out from her body, the arm was strong. In other words, kinesiology showed that the pain started in the field. So what I found for people with pain is you could put Traumeel, you could put Bengay, you can, do all kinds of stuff to put right on that pain, right on your skin. But if you don't take the pain out in the field, and you don't work on the field program and the emotions that are connected to it, it's not complete. So the biofeedback programs, and I have 5 different ones, work in different ways. And the reason I have 5 is because I like them for different reasons. They work differently with different people. But they also can work long distance, much like I can send a fax or a text today. So if you really think about it, why can you text your friend and they can be in Italy and they're going to get those words on their phone? Really? How does that really work? Well, it's being transmitted. Everything is energy. It's going through the airwaves. Okay. Scientists have even done studies with DNA, and they subjected they had 2 petri dishes of someone's blood, same person. And they subjected this petri dish number 1, to some frequency. And they put the other petri dish of blood in a building 3 miles away. And they hooked up a microscope and they checked the blood. And the blood from the first petri dish, the second petri dish 3 miles away, also changed. And it was 3 miles away. Everything is energy. So the newest program that I have, I'm actually calling, it's part of the Beautiful Balanced Brain program. So it's my Balanced Brain program. And what we're actually able to do is part of it is to send sound. And I want you all to experience this right now. So I've actually had the whole group, the Big Brain webinar, and all the members on this program this morning. And this part of it is just called the Solfeggio frequencies. And these were the frequencies that the ancient Gregorian monks chanted. And one of them, 528, actually repairs the DNA. So what I have found is these are not only incredibly anti-aging, but they transform your brain. Because when you change your brain, you change your life. So you're going to get a chance to hear them right now. So let me turn them on. I'm going to turn the volume up here. To be in a space of stating that all is well, my brain and hormones work perfectly, I am balanced and focused. I'm allowing the change that God intended for me today. So this is 285. This is influencing your energy field. So allow that field to be influenced in a positive way. Liberating guilt and fear. 396 hertz. Allow that to dissipate and leave. 417 hertz is facilitating change. Allow the change that you feel and see in your mind's eye. 528. Your DNA is being upgraded and repaired. 639. Allowing you to connect and understand relationships at a deeper level. 741. Awakening your intuition. Allowing you to tap into that intuition at a greater level. 852, returning to spiritual order. Picture yourself in harmony with your God, whatever that is for you, completely aligned. And then connecting with light and spirit. Being there, being in connection with your higher power. I'm going to let those actually play in the background. So even though I muted them, you are all still receiving them. And how do you feel out there? Good? Awesome.
Great.
So you can heal your brain in your life. So this 5-step program speeds healing on all levels, and you can get on board and begin at any level that you're actually ready for. So the newest discovery is coming up, and that's how your brain cleans itself. So here's what I want to offer you. You can be a part of these transformations that I've been talking about. And the way that you can do that is so simple. It's called Brain Boosters, and it's a group long-distance program. And if you join Brain Boosters today, it's $79 a month, and you'll receive a session every single week. Every Wednesday night, I put the whole group on 2 different, or 3 sometimes, different biofeedback programs to send you long-distance energy to help balance your brain. And it's amazing. Even just in 4 weeks, people change. But what we found was 12 weeks is even better, because it takes 12 weeks to change the brain or to really do even any kind of meditation program. So I discovered that years ago, about 6 years ago, and so that's why I made the groups 3 months long. And so you can also just pay $179 for 3 months and put a family member in for free. And this all evolved when I started with my ADHD groups. Long time ago, about 6 years ago, I had too many clients and I couldn't work on them all every week. And I said, what if I put them all in a group? So I gathered them all together in my office and all the families, and I said, let's do this. And so it actually was started as an experiment. Well, what I found was when I put couples or families in together, or husband and wife teams, that communication changed and everything shifted for them. And I went, this is a no-brainer. I've got to be able to put a couple people in at the same time. So I designed this, put in a family member for free. And then it's only about $8 a session. Well, regular sessions, if they were private with me, that's about $1,500, $3,000 for 2 people. So you're saving a ton, and it's so easy. There isn't anything you really need to do, although you can even increase the level of what's happening for you with doing some exercises called mind gems, which I'll share here in a minute. So I want to offer this to you. It's only through August 31st. You actually can go to to the website. Let me get there. And show you where you can. So this is the beautifulbalancebrain.com website, and under groups you can go to this link and sign right up. So you'll hear a little video there. You'll hear Beth, and there's another one, and then it just says get access now, and it will take you to a landing page where you actually can then just sign up right there for the group. You can do the 1 month if you choose, or the $179. I'm going to encourage you to do the 2 months and put in a member for free. And really experience this and make the commitment to change your brain and change your life today. There isn't anything out there that I know that's like this. Anyway, let's see. So this is the Mind Gems. And so the Mind Gems is 12 little exercises that help change your brain. And I will send all of you this as well. So when we're finished with the webinar today, you will get this. And what it does is it just, you hold each of these positions for 12 seconds, and there's 12. So it takes about 3 or 4 minutes. And I've even had clients call me and say, I forgot to do my Mind Gems. I found my sheet in my stack, and I wanted to call and tell you that they took away my headache. So just this piece too will help you immensely. I wanted to show you before and after picture. This was a young man that came in, and he was pretty depressed. He was pretty suicidal. And this was actually just after 1 session. So worked with him and did my signature program, released all of the steps that I talked about in my brain program, released some past traumas, and did some biofeedback frequency with him. And this is how he looked at the end. It was amazing. And he's fine today. I've probably seen him only 3 times. Exercise is certainly a part of healthy brain. Everyone knows that. Cardio oxygenates the brain. So anything you can do, whether it's walking, jogging, yoga, weightlifting, stretching. The fourth big piece is really important too, and this is the neurotransmitters. These are the naturally occurring chemicals that send or relay messages throughout your brain, as well as many organs and tissues in your body. And when your neurotransmitter production is healthy and their levels are balanced, that's when we can enjoy optimal health and wellness. And so the neurotransmitters are actually jump. So these are these little purple balls here. They jump between the axons, which are the nerve endings. So there's a receptor site and a vesicle, and they will leap, they will jump. This is where they are, is in that space. Well, the space is in our body. So here's the piece that I will go into another time more in depth, but I wanted to share a little bit with you today. That space, so here's another big secret, is your spiritual connection. So the masters in China said to us, we heal in the spaces, and this is the space. And so when those are working properly and the relay messages are happening the way that they need to be, you can enjoy optimal health. When there's a problem with that is when we're sick. This is just another picture of that serotonin reuptake transmitter. So here they are just leaping. This is that synapse, it's called, between the axons and the dendrites, which are the nerve endings. There's different types of neurotransmitters. Some have an inhibitory effect on the brain, and they act as a kind of a chemical restraint system. Then there's the excitatory effect on your brain chemistry and the rest of your body, and those are stimulating. They create a high level of energy. So this is your sex drive, your excitatory neurotransmitters. So the major neurotransmitters, the feel-good neurotransmitters, here's the names of them, and you've probably heard of some of these. Endorphins. So the endorphins are mood elevating, they're enhancing, they're euphoric. They're our natural pain relievers. Norepinephrine is excitatory. You'll feel happy, alert, motivated. It's an antidepressant and it's an appetite control. It creates energy and sexual arousal. Dopamine is the feeling of bliss and pleasure. It's euphoric. It's also an appetite control, controlled motor movements, and feeling very focused. So people with ADHD are low in dopamine, okay? Dopamine is what nicotine, and when someone is a smoker, it creates higher levels of dopamine. It gives them that feeling of pleasure. And so that's why it's hard to get off of smoking and why it's so hard to quit. Acetylcholine has to do with alertness and memory and sexual performance and the release of the growth hormone. Phenylethylamine is feelings of bliss, involved in feelings of infatuation. There's actually high levels of this in chocolate. So I think that's why so many people crave chocolate. So if you out there are craving chocolate, you're just low in this particular neurotransmitter, and we can balance that for you. The inhibitory neurotransmitters, the enkephalins, they restrict the transmission of pain, they reduce craving, and they reduce depression. And GABA, gamma-aminobutyric acid, is found throughout the central nervous system. It's an anti-stress neurotransmitter, anti-anxiety, anti-panic, anti-pain, helps you feel calm and maintain control and focus. And one of my programs that I call the Balanced Brain, I loaded all the neurotransmitters in my program, and I'm able to see, in a sense, what each individual needs when I'm working on you, or what the group might need, and I'm able to balance that for you. The hormonal neurotransmitters, serotonin is not just considered a neurotransmitter, it's also a hormone. It promotes and improves sleep, it improves self-esteem, it relieves depression, diminishes cravings, and prevents worrying. Melatonin helps rest and recuperation. It's an anti-aging hormone, and it regulates your body clock. Now, some of you have actually probably taken melatonin to help sleep at night. So you can buy melatonin as a supplement. Oxytocin is stimulated by dopamine. It promotes sexual arousal, feelings of emotional attachment, and desire to cuddle. Phosphatidylserine enables your brain cells to metabolize glucose and release and bind with the neurotransmitters. So this is important for all learning, for memory, and other cognitive functions. It is in our Total Recall product. You'll also find it, of course, in the health food stores, and I think you can even buy it separately. But what I like is combinations of things, and I found that when we do the right combination and they're put together in the right way, that it helps people more because we're getting the actual precursors and the enzymes that help digest it better. But phosphatidylserine is essential to your brain cells' ability to send and receive chemical communication. So scientific studies demonstrate that phosphatidylserine restores the brain's supply and output of acetylcholine, the neurotransmitter that is important for memory and to turn back the clock in an aging brain. So I've had some people who are in their 80s, some clients on this product, and it's really made a difference for them. So anybody having brain issues benefits, but I've really seen a big difference in some of my older clients. Here's another huge secret, and this is brand new, you guys. This is just research that's been out there recently. And the scientists are now discovering that there's a link to the brain's garbage truck theory. So they're finding that Alzheimer's is connected to the brain's waste removal system, which they are calling the glymphatic system. So just like you have a lymphatic system, which is your lymph system, which pumps lymph throughout your body and cleans your tissues, the brain detoxes through a glymphatic system. So researchers at the University of the Rochester Medical Center have discovered this system recently. And we're now learning that it's a complex waste removal system that the brain uses. So it's not lymph that the brain uses, it's actually connected to cerebral circulation. So they found that it's the circulation in the arteries and the veins and the interstitial tissue between them that ends up being more sort of like the lymph system of the brain, which they're calling the lymphatic system. So the central nervous system, the central spinal fluid, and there's something called amyloid B peptides and astrocytic connections. And they're finding again that this is really important piece of methylation and how the brain detoxes, and finding that when the brain doesn't do this properly, that it's been related to Alzheimer's and dementia. So it's, in a sense, it's the lymphatic connection to your methylation process. Methylation just means how we detox. So they're finding that if that interstitial tissue and that the connection between the spinal fluid and the nerves of the brain is not working properly, and those connections aren't there, that means that you're not signaling, the signal isn't there. And so without the signal there, it isn't helping the brain get rid of those heavy metals. Fascinating, isn't that? So what we can do with biofeedback and the connection that I have found to the trauma piece is begin to start to clear those up a little bit. So we use supplements as well as energy work and the biofeedback programs. This was just a picture of the brain, and I wanted you to see the difference between the arteries and the veins. So the veins are blue and the arteries are red. And you can see there's definitely spaces. And if you think about our whole world, there's always spaces between everything. And if we heal in the spaces, so there's space between the crevices of your brain. There's space between your lungs and your heart. There's spaces between the pictures on the wall. There's light and dark. There's space between sentences on a page. There's spaces between each letter in the sentences on a page. So it's all about the spaces. So what we learned today is that brain health is not just physical. And of course, we went over the physical pieces today. But the brain program that I use addresses all of these. It addresses the brain, which is body, and that's the part we learned today, the module 1. Release, having to do with releasing the mental, emotional patterns that needed to be cleared, even if it's something that started when you were in the womb or at age 3. Aligning your spiritual body. This is brain soul clearing. And you actually can read about this in my ebook. And so brain soul balancing, there's a picture of it right there, is on the ABQ Natural Health Center website. And you can download that for free and read it. And you will learn a technique that I use to align the spiritual, brain, soul, body. Integrate and transmute the old patterns from the ancestors is another big piece of the puzzle in brain health. And putting in a new program, rebooting the energy field with a new program signifying greater health and freedom. I use a combination of things. One of those things is Geo-tran, and many of you may have heard of that. And so Geo-tran is the language of the energy field, and it's very powerful work. So you can be all you came here to be. And so using my signature program and going through all those steps with people in my coaching program, this is some of the results that we've experienced. Since I've been working with Louise, I'm no longer afraid or anxious about taking steps towards starting my business and my future success. I actually feel hopeful about the experience. I'm enjoying the process. I have been so impressed with the mental shift that Louise has helped me achieve. This was a woman in Washington State who was busy mom, 2 kids, ADD, kids, and going to school to get her Oriental doctor degree, and just really struggling with like adrenal fatigue to the max, like where she got dizzy and would actually faint from adrenal fatigue. And so we helped get her adrenals healthier, and it was only about 6 weeks that we worked together, and it already made such a huge difference for her life and for her business and for where she was going. Wow, Louise, so much has shifted and continues to transform. Before working with you, I'd done so much work on the issues with my parents, yet I still felt hurt by them. Ugh. Through your techniques and understanding of ancestral patterns, I'm over it. I've forgiven them, knowing that they are acting out of ancestral patterns that have no way, that I had no way of knowing about. It's like I've taken my power back and the other people can no longer make me feel that there's something wrong with me. And this is a common pattern. I'm sure many of you are relating to this right now. And I feel free now. And it's a very different outcome from any other work that I tried. Also, I love the mind gems and they're great for emotional balance. Thank you so much. So this was a coach that I worked with who we just transformed and changed some, shifted some patterns for her, and it just changed her whole view of things and how she looked at the world and all of her interactions with her relationships. So you can allow your gifts to shine. I think you guys can tell how passionate I am about making sure that you know that there's options out there for you, and that this is one, that you really don't have to hang on to those patterns anymore, that you can shift your brain and be who you came here to be. So again, I want to invite you to be part of the Brain Boosters group. This is just beginning next week, and so I will begin next Wednesday night, and want you all to be a part of this. It's a no-brainer, okay? It is so affordable, and I've watched so many changes in families. And so in addition to offering you, because you're live on the call today, I want to offer people who are here today, an additional call. So Jake and I talked about this earlier, and we thought, you know what, let's do another call like in about a month here, where all of you who have been a part of this group for a month and you've signed up, that you get a chance to experience more brain techniques and more ways to shift so that you really can be on target with your goals coming into 2016 here. And so this group actually is going to go all the way through December 9th. And so it's 3 months. And so if you have children in school, get them in here, okay? I mean, I've seen just miraculous things happen with the kids in school. So do want to encourage you to do that. Again, here's some other amazing people who shared some work and some testimonials with us. I'm not going to read through all of these now, but worked with another boy who had ADD, and we did long distance work, and it's made such a difference in his behavior, and it was just a miracle. There's actually another woman who I worked with, and her brother had a brain injury years ago, and he became so much more social and was opening up and speaking. So the Brain Boosters group changed his life. I never saw him as a client. He was just in the group, and the group made such a huge difference for him because it was frequency weekly, every Wednesday night. And I do keep in touch via email with people. So I get your email, and I'm sending you the affirmations, the intentions that came up on the group every Wednesday night. So you'll receive those on Thursday morning. And so there's opportunities for us to connect as well. And it's just been amazing. So I want to, again, thank you so much for spending this Saturday afternoon with us, and for all of your time and commitment. Again, for committing to being here today. I want to offer you a chance to be a part of that group, and also to receive some more in about a month. We haven't planned the date yet, so get in that group, get on the email list, and I definitely will send you an email saying we're having another Google Hangout, another webinar where you can experience more and change your brain and change your life and allow your gifts to shine. Absolutely, that's the goal. All right.
All right. Beautiful. Thank you, Louise.
Hey, you're welcome. I want to make sure that if there's questions that we are answering those questions.
All right. I do have some, and thank you for Melissa, who asked towards the beginning of the webinar. She asked, how do brain soul connections inhibit growth?
Good question. It keeps you stuck. So what I have found is that when those patterns are still stuck in the field, you can't be 100% you. And then you're struggling to move forward and you don't know why. And so I had client after client come in and go, I'm still stuck here. This is another area we need to work on. And when we clear the connection to the soul tie, the tie that may have happened, again, when they were 12 years old, or just yesterday, we cleared a soul tie for a woman who we had to go back to when she was 16, and it was her first boyfriend who hurt her. And we had to clear the heart wound there. And when we cleared the heart wound, she completely changed. It was like her whole body got lighter and she was able to then focus again. And for me as a practitioner, it felt like all the static electricity in her field left. And so now going forward, if she wants to create a relationship in her life going forward, it's going to allow her to do that on a level that there was like a block there before. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, no, it does.
It's really powerful. I can't even explain it. I wish I could explain it better. I hope that helps.
No, I'm sure it did. It helped. I let us know, Melissa, if you need more clarity there. There was a couple questions about the replay throughout the presentation, and for those of you who registered, all of you did register, you're going to get an automatic replay sent out to you. But what I'll do here too is post for you, because you're live, you get extra special treatment. I just posted the link so that you guys can share, watch that, share it with everybody you know. And by sharing it, of course, people just have to put in their name and email, and they can access the live viewing room. And what I'll do, Louise, is I will go and edit and just take out that chunk in the middle that we had a little technical difficulty. I'll do that right now.
Okay.
And it should be live and published, within 30 minutes for everybody. So
great. Awesome. Thanks, Jake.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I learned something new every time. And what a pleasure it is, Louise. There's some other comments, or there's another question from Martin, but there's a lot of great comments. I posted a little poll, and I'll just read you those poll. So we're getting some good feedback on the webinar. We'll go over that later. Let's go back to the questions.
Go to the questions. Yeah, what did Martin have?
Martin asked, can you see the questions?
No, how do I do that? Let me see. I got it. Chat?
Yeah, no.
Oh, yeah, I can. Okay.
Okay. So Martin asked, what about babies who didn't pass through the birth canal, a C-section, and that disconnection there? It's a great question.
That's a great question. You know what I would do, Martin, with that is I would look at the brain-soul connection there again and release the emotions that were trapped so that that person could move forward and not hold those anymore. So I like to go back to the womb. And, when I test people, I find out, is it something in the womb? Is it something age 0 through 5? Is it something 5 through 10? Where were the issues? Often there is something that occurs when we're younger. And again, it could be something really simple, meaning maybe we got a timeout because we didn't finish our dinner and our parents were strict about us eating our peas. I'm giving you a silly example, but it's the emotions that are hooked to that. Mm-hmm. So if you as a child, felt completely devastated and shamed because you didn't finish your peas, then we have to release the shame.
Oh, those peas! Why'd you have to disclose? You had to disclose my secrets with you, Louise.
Didn't know it was the peas.
That was the peas.
It was the peas, huh?
No, it's a breakthrough. But that's a really good question, though, and because I also believe that we don't have to. Recognizing what those sticky emotions may be is the first step, but they don't need to define us.
Right.
We don't need to carry those burdens and past programming. But excellent. Thank you. Melissa says, thank you. Brain Boosters is awesome. My whole family has experienced an increase of well-being. Wonderful. Thank you, Melissa, for the feedback. Martin also commented earlier about, according to Edgar Cayce, gold is sometimes the missing link. And that's it. Like, are you talking, Martin, about the actual supplementation of it, being close to it? I think he's referring to the supplementation, but you can clarify if you'd like. And eventually, if people do have mics, you can raise your hand. We'll hang out for a few more minutes here.
When I think about gold, Jake, I'm thinking about there's a homeopathic remedy called Oramet, which is gold, and it works on the emotions. It may be that,
Yeah.
Certainly, if you're thinking about the spiritual body, you can use color and gold light, where people will put themselves in white light. or so there's probably different meanings and different ways to use that. But if Martin has another idea, we'd love to hear that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Let's see here. The rest are just during the disconnect there for a little bit. And let's see. Janet commented earlier about what an amazing difference after one of the testimonials that was played. So if we'll hang out for a few more seconds here, you guys, just to honor everybody's Saturday. If there's any more questions, please go ahead and ask. Let's see here. Looks good. Make sure everybody to go to, I'm going to actually send everybody directly to the Brain Boosters group fall 2015. I'm going to actually open up a new tab for everybody and direct you to that to give you an assistance. But with that said, Louise, I thank you for your wonderful teaching. And any last thoughts as you wrap up the session?
I just want to thank everybody for being here today and for spending time on a Saturday with us, and encourage you to ask questions. So if you have questions about this, or you're wondering, hey, will this work for me? And should I spend the $179 on Brain Boosters group? What will this really get me? I'm just going to offer you a guarantee. I mean, I can guarantee it. I'm so confident, and I know what happens to so many people who've been involved in these groups. We started with 15, we have 207, so it's just going to grow. It's going to get bigger, and I don't want you to miss it. So, I just want everyone I want everyone to experience what this can do, because it's just so simple, and it just changes. I know for you, Jake, you've been in the groups for a while, and I'm watching your life just stay so much more balanced, and things going consistently for you, and everything going well, and watching your little guy grow up, and it's a gift. It's a gift.
It's an anchor. It's an anchor knowing that I have support on that external outside of the conscious, the reality that I walk each day, but that extended support knowing that I'm part of this group. And I'm looking forward to actually getting connected more regularly regarding the group, so that I can't just drop by. I'm in West Bloomfield, Michigan. I can't just, I can't just pop over for the Wednesday night group meeting.
Right.
And to be able to connect at least, and to hear other people's stories is profound, knowing that you're connected and a part of something, because I believe every human being has a longing and a need, an actual need, not just a want, but a need to be connected. A lot of people feel connected when they're talking about the Denver Broncos, or let's call it in New Mexico, the Lobos there in Albuquerque, right? Or University. Other people have their political parties, other people, yet we're all longing to be connected to something, and so get connected with like-minded individuals wanting to improve themselves, knowing that each Wednesday I'm getting worked on is profound. And with that said, there's actually a question that popped up. Are you able to see these questions too, Louise?
Let's see. Where is it? Is it about the homeopathic remedy?
Yeah. What is the homeopathic remedy to eliminate fluoride?
Fluoride from your body. It's called halogens. And so it's a white dove remedy, and I have it in my office. You're welcome to give us a call. And would you put our phone number up there too, maybe, Jake?
Absolutely, yeah.
So the number is 505-797-0540. So we have that remedy, and I love that remedy. In fact, I'm having to use that myself, because the condo that I bought is in a building with about 9 other condos, and there's about 5 dentists in this building. And so this is a first-time exposure for me in over 25 years to a lot of fluoride. And fluorine, chlorine, bromine, and are all the halogen family. And the halogen family is higher up on the periodic table in chemistry. So it's a bully, and it takes out iodine. It takes the place of iodine on the molecule of iodine. And so, when I think about the number of people who are now on thyroid medication, it's ridiculous. The first thing doctors do is they put them on thyroid medication, but they're not looking for the cause. And so we've got to find the cause. So I could get on my whole soapbox on that one.
there's more topics coming, and Martin clarified, I think, regarding the gold, and he's talking about the Christ consciousness formula.
Oh, there is one like that. Yeah. I think those are all wonderful because they're working on the spiritual body. That's amazing.
Right. Yeah. Well, the elements, we're just a combination of those periodic table.
Yep.
And molecules are made of, elements are made of molecules, and what makes those molecules? It's the atom.
Right.
So what's an atom? It's 99% nothing. I mean, it's not nothing, it's space, and it's energy, electromagnetic force, motion, and shape. And that's how we're also able to connect. This technology we're on today is an extension of the human consciousness, right? Internet was only developed 25, 30 years ago. Think about where we've come from then. So it's profound, and it's amazing. Janet asked, talking about the groups, is it okay to just drop in Wednesday night?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. And it's not every Wednesday. So it's a once a month thing in my office. And so the next one's September 23rd.
How can people keep aware and keep up to speed with what you're doing, Louise?
You know what? The website. So I'm going to send them to 2 different websites because we just got beautifulbalancebrain.com up. And so there's some information there. And abqnaturalhealthcenter.com has all the events and the dates for all of the groups and all the upcoming classes. And so I will, and also just get on our email list. So if you're not on my email list, well, you can email me. So that's one way you can do it. It's Louise Swartz, SWARTS @msn.com, or go and sign up for the ebook and you will get on the email list so that I can, that we can keep in touch that way. Because what I'd like to do with all of you on the call today is make sure that I said, Jake and I will look at their calendars together and find out a date where we can just do, a 30 or 40 minute call where we're finding out how everybody's doing, who's been in the group, and if they have questions, especially for all of our long distance people. I usually try to videotape the in-person group I have in Albuquerque, and, I'm working on getting a video person to send that on. So that's in the process, because people have said to me, how can we be a part of this? How can we be a part of the groups? We want to be there too. So I'm designing a way to make that happen, I guess, is what I would say. And so, Jake and I talked about, let's just do this. Let's get together like this and be available to all of you for questions, and also give you some more tips on how you can be really optimally healthy and help your brain. Cool.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing. Cool. Well, Louise, thank you. I put in the websites and the contact information. So again, for those of you who have a pen and paper, you can call Albuquerque Natural Health Center at 505-797-0540, or you can go to abqnaturalhealthcenter.com. And of course, check out the new website, which is beautifulbalancebrain.com. And it's just stay connected. And I'm going to hand the ball over. Last words, Louise.
Okay. One last thing too. I just got Beautiful Balance Brain Facebook page up, and I had a contest with myself this week to see if I could get 100 likes. I'm at 98. I need 2 of you, 2 of you to go like that page. So it's Beautiful Balance Brain on Facebook.
On Facebook? Okay,
on Facebook,
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
cool.
I will go find it. You guys are savvy. I will never underestimate the intelligence of the listeners and the guests. You go do it. And thanks everybody for your wonderful participation. Have a wonderful weekend.
Have a great weekend. Thanks, Jake.